starting position. Turning that left toe out as much as you can. Stabilize and hold. I'm going to start the clock. Let's initiate movement on this left side. Coming in for a count of 7. For 6. For 5. 4. For 3. 2. Might feel like a stretch as the foot's coming in, and good turning out 7.
What's happening, everyone? And welcome back to the MS Workouts YouTube channel. Before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be introducing some new faces to this channel. We pride ourselves in having a whole team of instructors to help you guys through this journey, and we're excited for you to meet these new faces. My name is Mason Shaver, and for those of you who may not know me, I'm a steady pace instructor at MS Workouts, where I lead 2 live workout classes every single week with our members. This past month, we have all been focusing on foot drop, and to great success. This has helped them to feel like they have improved balance, they're more independent and more mobile and able than they have been previously. So in that spirit, I'm going to guide you through the same exercise session that our members executed to improve their foot drop. This upcoming exercise class is a replay from our live session. All you have to do is follow along with the instructors and you will see great results. And if you like this workout session, then I want you to take a moment after the video and go to msworkouts.com so that you can explore our Steady Pace Club. We offer on-demand exercise classes, live workouts with me every Monday and Wednesday, replays of events in case you can't make it live, stretch courses, drills for your balance, and so much more. Again, that's www.msworkouts.com. Our team would love to support you along your MS journey towards more strength and better mobility.
Welcome, everybody, to the live workout class. My name is Mason. I'm going to be your instructor here today. Today, we're going to be going through a live standing full body fundamentals class, continuing with the foot drop focus on here today through the end of this month. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And for those of you watching the recording back, I hope you guys get a good session from it as well. Couple reminders, as always, before we start class, there's some things you guys are going to want to have available to best set yourself up for success while going through this session. Especially with parts of the country in the US having a crazy heat wave coming through, make sure that you try your best to avoid overheating whenever possible. If you have temperature control where you're located, putting it somewhere between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you have some water within arm's reach. And if you have a fan that you can turn on and place directly at you, that'll help you avoid that overheating as well. It's a standing fundamentals class, but I will have seated variations available for everything as well. If you plan to partake in some of the standing fundamentals, I do recommend you have some sort of padding or cushioning, like a yoga mat on the floor, and putting both the chair and the mat within the view frame of the camera so I can give you form cues and corrections if needed throughout both positions. Do make sure you have your resistance bands and whatever equipment you plan to use for the exercise within arm's reach as well. For quick transitions between the exercises, I do like to cut rest times down to keep the heart rate up and get some awesome metabolic benefits from this exercise as well. And don't forget about your progress journal. Super important to be measured in our outcomes. That way we know if we're getting stronger, we know what resistance to use for next time. It's a super important part of being successful in fitness. Progressive overload, it's called. This is a list of the exercises today for July 10th. Starting off with the dynamic leg press. But first, the quote of the week. Motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. And it's very true. Motivation comes and goes, and it's a great tool and a great wave to ride when it comes, but building those habits, building the discipline, and having groups like this to hold each other accountable on the days that we're not quite feeling like coming in are the days that add up. The consistency over time is what's really important as well. Another component that's important for exercise. Like I said a moment ago, the leg press is the first exercise of the day today. We're going to be starting it off with the left side. For the setup on this one, what you want to do. Take an in loop of your band. Place it through your left hand. Loop number 2 right here. I'm going to have empty. Loop number 3 is going to have my left foot. Over the shoelaces and the ball of the foot, or the arch of the foot is where I put it. So I've got loop 1, got my hand. Loop 2 is empty. Loop 3 is my foot. Loop number 4 on the other side is going to be empty. Loop number 5 is my other hand. You'll have some slack. You can place that in your hand if you want something to hold on to. Then I recommend scooting back in your chair. That way you can have your hips and your shoulders all the way back into the seat. Starting position is with the leg outstretched in front of you here. It's 7 seconds each direction. Be sure to take that band and be tensioning it, pulling it all the way back towards the hips. And then 7 seconds each direction, trying to bring that knee up towards the shoulder. Brief pause at the top position, pressing through the heel and slowly guiding the resistance away. A big component of this one is taking the hip into flexion, so trying to take that knee up towards the shoulder. If we're not doing that, it's kind of like a pseudo leg extension at this point, where it's just the knee moving. Now, if you find that challenging, that's more than okay. If you're comfortable getting onto the floor, you can do this exercise with your butt on the floor, sliding your heel along the ground, and that will help you take that knee into hip into flexion, guiding the knee up towards the shoulder. Simply seeking your best on getting as much hip flexion as possible. Mobility and strength are going to be the limiting factors there, but it's good to practice. All right. Let's see here. 1 or 2 more folks still getting it set up, and that's more than okay. Make sure you take the time to be measured in the way you're setting it up. Just like I mentioned earlier. 1 full loop on either side of the foot. Hands go next to that. Everybody that's ready to roll, let's get into it here. So, leg starts outright with slight bend in the knee. Let's everybody go ahead and tension your band. Rowing that resistance back, hands down by the hips. Go ahead and put some slight bend in the knee, elevating that left leg, putting it straight out along the floor. Stabilize and hold your starting position. I'm going to get the clock rolling. Let's initiate movement coming in for a count of 7. For 6, a dynamic set. Working the glutes, the quadriceps as the main movers. 2, 1, 7, 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7. For 6, second effort here, 5. Muscle failure being the goal. When you can no longer execute 7 seconds each direction with proper form. Here's your press for 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back in for 7. 6, third effort now, 5. For 4, building up strength and mobility of the knee, hip, and the musculature around it. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back in for 7. 4th effort, 6. We're heading into that exhaust range here. Simply seeking your best effort going through it. 2, 1, 7, 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back in for 7. For 6, the final 30 seconds is here. This is it. Should be getting close to muscle failure in this moment. 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now for 7. Last one here. 6, no matter what. For 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7. 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2, stopping just short of a lockout, slowly guiding it in one more time, detensioning that band. Once tension is removed, notate the outcome in your progress journal, and we're going to switch on over to the right side, coming up next with the exact same setup. Again, a couple things to pay attention to is moving at the hip as much as you can to make it a compound motion, which just means multiple joints are moving through range of motion. And then the anchor points. Your hands, you want to keep them generally in the same place the whole time. As you get tired and you go to press, those hands might want to come forward out in front of the body. Try and keep them nice and tight to the hips and the ribs. All right. Right side is coming up next. So everybody take one more big breath. As you exhale, take your arms to the starting position, tugging on that band, tensioning it. Now, go ahead and take your right leg to the starting position. Stabilize and hold. Leg is out straight with just a slight amount of bend in the knee. Stabilize and hold that position. I'm going to start the clock. Let's initiate movement for 7. For 6, dynamic set on this right side as well. Working the glutes, quads, hip flexors as the main mover. Pressing for 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back in for 7. Second effort, 6. For 5, muscle failure being the goal. When you can no longer press away 7 or slower. 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up 7. 6, third effort now, 5, 4. Strong legs help us get around throughout the day. Pausing at the top, press 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up for 7. Fourth effort now, 6. Taking the greatest pain-free range of motion that you're able to with that proper form. So we're pressing again for 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back up for 7. The final 30 seconds. No more than 2 efforts remaining here. For 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up for 7. For 6, that final opportunity coming up next year. Actively flexing into the eccentric, the way up as well for 2. For 1, now just attempting. 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, 1. Completed. Slowly removing tension from your band. The next exercise we're going to be taking this to is the shoulder extension and upper body movement here. For the shoulder extension, this is my recommendation for the set. I'm going to take my hands and place them through neighboring loops. Left arm's going first. So I'm going to take my right hand, place it just to the front of my left knee. That way there's not temptation to have it slide up towards the hip as we're going through the exercise. Position your hips so that you're not running into anything with your arm. If I'm back in my seat, I'm going to run into this armrest. So I scoot forward. Right hand on the front of the knee. Left arm is straight. Very starting position is arm as far back as you can with your strength and mobility. And then 7 seconds each direction, slowly guiding the arm forward. An important part here is don't let the arm come in front of the torso. Keep it in line with the spine, not coming all the way forward here. As you initiate movement back, I like to tell people think about punching down into the floor as we start that motion back to avoid the shoulder shrugging up towards the ears. Left side going first. Go ahead and take that right hand, place it on the front of your left knee. Hips are in whatever position you need to get a full range of motion. Straighten that left arm out. Now go ahead, take a big breath, exhale, and bring that left arm back to your starting position. Whatever your range of motion allows, stabilize and hold. I'm gonna start the clock. Let's initiate movement. Coming forward for 7, for 6, 5, 4, working the posterior side of the shoulder. So lats, traps, rhomboids, posterior head of the delt. We're coming back 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for 7. Second effort, 6. For 5, be careful about the location of your torso. Try not to rotate. Keep your shoulders in line with the hips for 7. For 6, we're coming back 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back forward 7. The other thing to look out for is as you kick that arm back in 3, 2, 1. Try to stay upright. Don't lean forward as we kick the arm back for 3, 2, 1. Now 7, 6 for 5. Fourth effort here. 4. Going into the exhaust range. 2, 1, 7, 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Phenomenal job with the form and tempo, everybody. For 5, for 4, control this band. Don't be passively letting it pull you forward as we kick back 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The last one here, no matter what. For 6, for 5, focus on breathing. I know it's probably burning in this moment. 2, 1. Now very slow 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. Slowly guiding it forward to the front position. Once tension is removed from your band, disengage. We're going to take it over to the other side. For some folks, it might just be a quick switch of the hands. Left hand goes to the front of the knee, and then right arm's ready to roll. Others might have to change the resistance. That's more than okay. Very normal to have discrepancies in strength from side to side. I'd say everybody has some to one extent or another. Getting that right side set up, hips are in the appropriate position. Set your anchor point. Left hand goes to the front of the right knee. Straighten that right arm out. One more big breath. As you exhale, take that arm back to the starting position. Stabilize and hold resistance. Clock is now on. Let's initiate movement for a count of 7. For 6, 5, dynamic set. 4, working the same muscle groups, just on the opposite side. 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for 7, 6, second effort here. 5, muscle failure is the goal. When you can no longer kick that arm back, 7 or slower. Here's the transition for 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7. 6, third effort now. 5. For 4, all for a purpose. Strong and injury resistant shoulders. That's what we're aiming for here. For 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back forward 7. Fourth effort 6. For 5, the highest intensity is what prompts the best result. Should be going there with this next extension for 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for 7. For 6, the final 30 seconds is here. This is it. Should be getting close. 3, 2, 1. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Fighting for that full range. 1. Count of 7. Last one here. 6. No matter what. For 5, for 4, 3, 2. Brief pause. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not done till the tension is removed from the band. Slowly guiding it forward one more time. Then disengage. And we're going to take this to the safe squat. Next. If you are uncomfortable getting out of your chair in any fashion, that's more than okay. What we can do is called a glute squeeze. For that exercise, feet are about hip width apart, flat on the ground. You have 2 options for your upper body. I like to try and be specific for our daily lives, meaning this is to be practice. This is practicing, be able to stand up and down out of chairs with more ease, doing safe squats, that type of thing. So let's put our bodies in the same position, which is shoulders over the feet and knees. Press into the floor, squeeze the glutes, flex the thighs for up to 90 seconds. If you are particularly an individual who doesn't feel a lot of engagement in their glutes and their rear end as they're going through it, you can lean all the way back. into the chair, and this will put the rear end into a better position to fire, and you'll probably feel a little bit less of the top of the thighs here. Positives and negatives to both. There's always trade-offs. Find what works best for you. Now, if you're going to be doing the squat, I do recommend having something for balance in front of you and something to catch you if you do find that muscle failure point. Feet are a little bit wider than the hips. Hands are on my assistants. My first motion is to keep the back flat, push that rear end out behind me, and then dropping the hips and the knees as I'm coming down to that 90-degree angle. Brief pause, slowly guiding it up to the top position. Coming off of your chair out of the bottom position has a disproportionate amount of the value. We really want to emphasize that portion. If you plan on using a band for added resistance, I'm going to take my hands and place them through either end loop. Like I'm holding onto a jump rope here. Whoops. Then I'm going to step into my bands and take my feet to the same position, a little bit wider than my hips. As I guide the band up to my shoulders, I'll come down so you guys can see it. Notice the band is to the outside of my elbows, not the inside. Put them out here. Then, same concept. Push the hips back first, dynamic set, coming down to the bottom position. And then watch the transition. You ready? For count of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Watch my knees, watch my hips. I'm not locking out at the top. I'm keeping some bend. That is your options for the safe squat. Let's give it a try. If you plan to do this on your feet, go ahead and work your way up. Hands on your assistants. Go ahead and take your band to your starting position if you plan on using a band for resistance. Everybody go ahead and put the pressure through the heels of the feet, slight bend in the hips and the knees, chest is high. I'm gonna go ahead and start the clock. Let's initiate movement down for a count of 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now very slowly, coming up for 6. For 5, we're loading up that lower body, the glutes and quads. For 2, 1, 7, 6. Second effort here, 5. Muscle failure being the goal. When you can no longer execute, 7 seconds each direction, proper technique. Coming up for 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now 7, 6. Third effort here, 5. Great for building up overall strength and function of the lower body. Here comes that touch. Coming up for 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, and 1. Back down 7. It doesn't get much more specific for our daily lives. As we're coming down, 3 to the bottom, 2, and 1. Count of 7. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right back down 7. Final 36. I'm starting to see about half the class come out of the bottom position a little too quick. Really emphasize it in 1. Now very slowly. Coming up for 6. Out of way to work. For 4. For 3, 2, 1. Right back down 7. For 6. 1 more squat here. 4. Just like the last. Super slow out of the bottom in 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Out of way to work, Karen. I see you, man. What a great hold. That was phenomenal. Muscle failure was achieved on that final effort there. I love to see it, even though it doesn't feel amazing. It's hard, and your heart rate goes through the roof. I love it.
What do you say, Jim?
Not sure.
Okay.
All right. Up next, we're going to be taking this
We'll check out this.
top leg raise. So, abdominal exercise coming up next. Oh, whoops. The tabletop leg raise is going to be on the floor. You're going to be flat on your back with your legs elevated. Hips and knees at 90 degrees, making little right angles like the corner of a paper. Squeeze your legs together to get some adduction work. Then you think about elevating the shoulders up off the ground, trying to crunch up, and you hold that position for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, what you do is pick a leg, either leg, and slowly guide it down towards the floor, moving at the hip, touching it to the floor, and then slowly guiding it back up to the top position. Every time you come to the top, make sure you got that proper form again, squeeze knees, and then alternate to the other side. Final 30 seconds, back to the static hold, and then that'll be our 90 seconds time under tension. Those of you that want to be in the chair, you scoot as far forward as you can without losing your balance. Hands go to your preferred starting position. There's 3 of them. Arms out in front, hands behind head, giving yourself a hug. Belly button, pulling it in towards the spine and leaning back as far as you can. Stabilize and hold for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we'll slowly start to sit up out of that position, and then back down we go. Rinse and repeat. Final 30s, back to the static hold here, until we either achieve muscle failure or get 90 seconds of time under tension. All righty. Tabletop leg raise, folks. Go ahead and elevate the legs, squeeze knees together. Make sure the knees are just over your hips, not the belly button. In the chair, go ahead and take your arms to your starting position. Everybody, go ahead and take your shoulders to the starting position to stabilize and hold. I'm gonna start the clock, maximum 90 seconds in this position. Everybody's just holding for now. Either lean back, shoulder blades just in front of the backrest of your chair, or we're on the floor with the 90-90 position of the legs and shoulder blades crunched up. Everybody's looking phenomenal so far. That tuck of the pelvis is so important. Think about squeezing your glutes and pulling the belly button in towards spine at the same time. Now we're coming up on about 5 more seconds until we start our micro movements. In 2, 1, everybody start to initiate your micro movement, being taking one leg and touching it down to the floor, or slowly sitting up out of that position and then going back to the lean back portion. Rinse and repeat. Doesn't have to be 7 seconds each direction, but you do want it to be slow, controlled, and without momentum. As we have about 10 more seconds of these motions until we go back to that static hold. That's another 5. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to the static hold. Finishing up this final micro movement and then loading it up into that position, breathing in through nose, out through mouth. Push the air out of the lungs every time you exhale. Down about 17 seconds left. Final effort here now for 13, 12, down to 10, 9, 8, 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly disengaging out of that position. That is our ab exercise. Up next, we're going to be going to a kickback or a heel slide. So for the kickback, you're going to be on the floor, but flipped over onto one of 3 options. Your hands and your knees, your forearms and your knees, or your fists and your knees. The upper body is basically just what feels most comfortable to you. As you're going through it, you want to have the majority of your weight and pressure on your knees. Then you're going to take the left leg and bring it up to the starting position, which you see here. When the exercise begins, to 7 seconds each direction, slowly guiding the knee down towards the floor. There's a light touch of the knee to the floor. And then slowly, while maintaining the 90-degree bend in the knee, guiding that leg back up towards the sky. Make sure you keep your arms in the same position, meaning if you're on the fists or the hands, don't start bending at the elbows and doing a push-up with the upper body as that leg comes up towards the sky. The heel slide is in the chair. So for this one, hip positioning again is preference on this one. If you have front riggings or something in the front of your chair, then you're going to want to scoot forward. You take your left leg, you straighten it out in front, slight bend in the knee. You can place your hands where you want. Most people like to kind of grab their chair to help stabilize the hips. And then you think about pushing the heel down into the floor and guiding it along the floor to the whatever your range of motion is. Perfect world, heel underneath, and then press into the floor, squeeze the glute as we slide it back away. Stop just short of that lockout. Rinse and repeat. Up to 6 efforts in 90 seconds time under tension. All right. If you're going to be doing the kickback, go ahead and take your starting position, either on the fist, the hands, the forearms, and taking that left leg to the starting position. In the chair, straighten that left leg out, slight bend in the knee. Everybody stabilize and hold your starting position. I'm going to start the clock. Let's go ahead and initiate movement on the left side, coming down for 7, for 6, 5. Everybody's working the same muscles here, the hamstrings and the glutes. 2, 1, 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now 7, 6. Second effort for 5. Muscle failure being the goal. When you can no longer move the leg through the full range, 7 seconds or slower. We're coming back up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now 7. Third effort here. 6 for 5. Great for strengthening the posterior chain of the lower body, which is really good for helping to protect back, hips, knees, and feet. Now we're coming back up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7. 3 down. No more than 3 to go. 5 for 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7 for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right back down 7, 6 for 5. The final 30 seconds is here. No more than 2 efforts remaining. Given tempo is maintained. Transition for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down 7 for 6. Final opportunity is here. Now 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7 for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Completed. Slowly guiding that left leg down to the floor. Disengage. And then switching it over to the right side next. Oops, that's the new slide. All right, everybody, let's roll into it here. Everybody take one more big slow breath in through the nose. As you exhale, take the right leg to the starting position. Stabilize and hold that position. I'm going to start the clock. Let's initiate movement for 7, for 6, 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7. For 6, second effort here. 5. For 4, muscle failure is the goal. Being unable to move. 7 seconds each direction with proper form. 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, and 1. Back in for 7. For 6, taking the greatest pain-free range of motion that you can with that proper technique as we're coming up for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down 7. For 6, we're going into the exhaust range now. That intensity should rise. So does the benefit. 1 to the bottom, pausing, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7. Final 36 for 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. For 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2. Going into the final opportunity here, down 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. and slowly disengaging out of that position. Well done, everybody. Looking great on those exercises. We're going to be taking it to the foot drop focus next. Now we're going to start it off with the assisted dorsiflexion. We've been doing it for about 5 weeks now, so I'm not going to give you guys the whole spiel about measured and repeatable. Knowing by this point, if you've been with us for the whole 5 weeks, you should know your process, right? Stepping on your band, having it just under the ball of the foot, being measured in when your hands, where your hands are going onto the band, and being measured about where your hands are going in accordance to your body to anchor it. Are you bringing your hands to your knee, to your shoulder, midway up your shin for the assistance? Assistance is not required on this exercise. It's as needed. If you're able to go with just the body weight, absolutely do that. Make sure that the heel is under the knee. Pressing into the floor with the heel helps me, because if the heel ever elevates up off the floor, your hip flexor is now responsible for moving your foot, not the muscles in the foot and ankle. Left side's going first. Hip positioning is really just preference. Filling the time with form cues, because I think a couple more folks are still getting it ready here. If you are ready, give me a thumbs up. I can't see everybody's feet. Looks like yes. Okay. Everybody go ahead and take that left foot up to the starting position. Ball of the foot is elevated. Stabilize and hold that position. I'm starting the clock. The first 30 seconds is a static hold. No motions whatsoever. Once we get through 30 seconds of time under tension, we'll start to execute slow and controlled micro movements as an option. Now, if you just want to do a static hold, that's more than okay. But in 15 seconds, if you want, slowly guide the ball of the foot down towards the floor before slowly elevating it back up. Being conscious of your upper body, if you're using a band where that anchor point is, make sure it stays right there. Now, if you want, go ahead and start your slow and controlled micro movements. Remember, you never have to beat these exercises. The goal is to send a robust stimulus to the muscles. How do we do that? Getting to, or at least very close to, muscle failure. It's an important part of this process. We're past the halfway point now, 45 seconds. The main muscle, if I haven't mentioned it already, is the tibialis anterior. It's on the front of the lower leg, below the knee, just to the outside of the shin. We're coming up on the final 30 seconds here. So if you've been going through a micro movement, take it back up to the starting position now. We're in the exhaust range, where if we have the appropriate difficulty for you, you're going to start to really feel that fatigue setting in. This is where we're looking to find that point of muscle failure. We're down to 16 seconds remaining here. Final opportunity, final 13, 12, 11, 10, for 9, 8, 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Slowly disengaging out of that one. Taking this to the other side, the right side on the assisted dorsiflexion. Taking the time to get your band set up appropriately, going through your steps, measuring it in your progress journal. Let's say you're an in-betweener on this exercise, right? One band's too easy, another band's too hard, or the yellow band's too easy, but the body weight is too hard. Start with the harder option. As soon as you achieve muscle failure, grab the easier option, hook it under the foot, and go right back into it as soon as you can. That's one option you have to help transition to that next difficulty point. All right, everybody. Go ahead and elevate the ball to the right foot. Stabilize and hold at the very top position there. Starting the clock on the right side. Maximum 90 seconds in this position. Working the same muscles. Tibialis anterior is the primary mover of this one. Responsible for guiding the ball of the foot up towards the knee. Muscle failures when you can no longer maintain that same range of motion. Coming up on the first 20 seconds here already, just like the other side, you'll have the option to take that ankle through flexion and extension as we start the middle 30 seconds right here. If you want, slowly guide the ball of the foot down towards the floor, slowly guide it back up for the middle 30 seconds of this exercise. Then we'll go back to the static hold for the exhaust range. Great job keeping it slow and controlled, everybody. No momentum. Always the key when we're going through ranges of motion. Down to about 7 more seconds until we go back to that static hold here. Giving back to the body here today. Point of this one is to help you guys with strength through the foot and ankle as we're in the final 30. So let's go ahead and guide it back up to our starting position. When the foot and ankle are strong, it helps us with things like balance and not tripping or stumbling when we fall. If we do walk on uneven surfaces, the ankle is bound to pronate, supinate, flex, all sorts of funky things. We need to be strong through those ranges of motion. Now we're down to about another 7 seconds left here. Breathing through it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly disengaging out of that position. You did it. Add a way to work. Next exercise that we're going to be doing is the ankle eversion exercise. That's this setup here. You have your left foot and an end loop of your band. Stretching the band, it's placed under the right foot, and you take your slack and you bring it all the way up and over your right knee. Make sure there's tension on the band through the full range of motion, meaning when the toes are turned in and not just turned all the way out. Things to ask yourself, where is my right foot going on the band? How far am I taking my feet apart? Hip width, a little wider? Make sure there's that stretch in the band. It should be quite tight. It's okay if, especially after the tib raise, you guys are unable to elevate the ball of the foot anymore. Keep the heel on the ground and just think about sliding that foot along the floor. We want to minimize the motion at the knee and maximize as much ankle range of motion as we can to avoid the abductors of the hip doing the work. Looks like most folks are finishing it up now. Make sure you finish setting the tension on your band. Take your foot to your starting position. Turning that left toe out as much as you can. Stabilize and hold. I'm going to start the clock. Let's initiate movement on this left side. Coming in for a count of 7. For 6. For 5. 4. For 3. 2, might feel like a stretch as the foot's coming in and good turning out 7. 6. For 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Back in for 7. 6. Muscle failure is the goal, right? When we can no longer move through the full range. 7 or slow, we're coming back out for 6. For 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Now 7. 6. Third effort for 5. 4. 3. 2 and 1, count of 7, all for a purpose, helping you guys have confidence as you're going through your days to not trip and stumble and fall, being strong in the lower bodies. You're coming in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, count of 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back in for 7. The final 30 seconds. You've made it to the exhaust range here. This is where we're looking to find that point of muscle failure. 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back in for 7, 6, for 5. Last one here, no matter what. 3, 2, 1. Count of 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. And slowly guiding the feet in together, detension your band, and start the setup for the right side coming up next. Exact same progression. Get your band ready and loading up that ankle. I see everybody basically sitting still, so it looks like we're about ready. Taking one more big breath as you exhale. Turn that right foot out to your starting position. Stabilize and hold the resistance. Starting the clock now. Let's go ahead and initiate movement for count of 7. For 6, 5, 4, dynamic set 3. For 2, 1, count of 7, 6, 5. Again, heel stays in contact with the floor. 2, 1, count of 7. For 6, second effort 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, and 1. Back down 7. For 6, third effort here 5. For 4, 3, 2. Here comes that pause. Gradual out 7. Minimizing how much that knee is moving. Just at the foot and ankle. For 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, and 1. Count of 7, 6. For 5, 4, 3, 2. And just like that, we're in the exhaust range. Final 30 seconds. Coming in 4, 3, 2, 1. For 7, 6, 5, 4. For 3, 2, 1, 7, 6. The final opportunity is here. Coming in for 2. For 1, count of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. And slowly guiding it all the way in here. Add a way to work, everybody. The next one we're going to be doing is the ankle inversion. I will show setup on this one, since it's only been a week or so. What I like to do. I'm going to try and simplify it anymore, even more. Find somewhere in the middle of your band. Put one loop on one foot. Arch of the foot, shoelaces. Then skip a loop. Put your other foot through that loop. So I've created this position where I've got my feet in loops with one full loop in between. Now all I have to do is take one leg and cross it over. Individuals might be limited with their mobility on this one. If you ever feel a pinch in your hip or just super tight, then the higher up you angle your knee, the less of a mobility requirement there is. In a perfect world, something to maybe strive for with your mobility, stretching outside of here as your active rest and recovery, you'll be able to put yourself in a position where the leg is parallel to the floor. Then all I'm going to do is have my toes down towards the floor. That's our starting position. 7 seconds each direction. You can place your hands on the leg to help stabilize it, guiding the toes up towards the sky, and then slowly guiding it back down. Working these muscles here on the inside of the foot and ankle. Left side's going first, as always. I see most folks sitting still, so let's have the toes pointing down towards the floor. That's your starting position. Go ahead and stabilize and hold it. I'm going to start the clock. Let's go ahead and initiate movement up for count of 7, for 6, 5, 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Back down 7, 6, for 3, 2, 1, 7. 6 second effort here, 5, for 4, successful end, being unable to move through the full range, 7 seconds each direction with proper form, just like all other dynamic sets. As you're coming down, 3, 2, 1, back up for 7, 6, third effort now, 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1, back down 7, 6. These exercises might not get your heart rate up as high as something like a safe squat. However, it's super important to have these muscles strong. That way, we can have proper movement and function going around throughout our day. And when these muscles are strong, it compounds to help us with things like the safe squat, the leg press, the bridge, whatever you struggle with as far as stability is concerned, this helps with that. For 3, 2, 1. Now we're coming back down for 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, count of 7, 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right back down 7, for 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. All we have to do now is transition it over to the other side. Notate the outcome in your progress journal. Only 2 more exercises for our class today. All righty, everybody. Finish recording that outcome. Then take your right leg up, crossing it over the left. Starting position is with the toes turned down towards the floor. Let's everybody go ahead and take that foot to that position now. I'm going to get the clock rolling on this right side here. Go ahead and initiate movement up for a count of 7, for 6, 5, 4, for 3, 2, 1, back down 7, for 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up 7, 6 second effort here, 5, 4. Muscle failure is the goal, as always, when you can no longer execute with that proper technique. Down 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7, 6. If you do achieve muscle failure, you can simply just slide that band right off your foot and then go through the full range of motion after the fact to get some more blood flow and motion through that ankle. 1 for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7, 6 for 5. Fourth effort. 4. Going into the exhaust range. 2, 1. We're there for 7. Final 30 seconds for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down 7 for 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're now in the final opportunity for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right back down 7 for 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completed. Slowly disengaging out of that position. There's only one more exercise on the day. It's the heel toe rock calf training exercise. You're going to see it in the chair, but you do have an option. Or you're going to see it on the feet. You do have an option for the chair. Simply placing your feet flat on the ground, hip width apart, and then you rock up onto the balls of the feet and the toes. And it's 7 seconds each direction, slowly guiding the heels down towards the floor. Light touch of the heels before slowly coming back up to the top. Just like the safe squat, if you're going to do it on your feet, set yourself up for success with something for balance and something to catch you if you do lose your balance. Coming up onto the tiptoes and 7 seconds each direction, slowly guiding the heels down towards the floor. Light touch, and then back up we go. If you plan on doing this exercise on your feet, go ahead and work your way up to your feet. Hands on your assistants. Chair behind you to catch you if need be. Everybody come up onto the balls of the feet and the toes. Stabilized in holds at your top position. The clock is now on, so let's initiate movement for a count of 7. 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up for 7. Working the calves as the main movers on this one. Coming up for 2, 1. Back down 7, 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2. Brief pause. Gradual up 7, 6 for 5, 4, 3 to the top, 2, and 1. Right back down 7 for 6 for 5. Third effort now. 4 for 3 to the bottom, 2, 1. Count of 7. 6. Calves help us anytime we're going up and down stairs. The push off portion of our gait pattern when we're walking. Back down 7, 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back up for 7 for 6, 5, 4 for 3, 2, and 1. Count of 7. But of your day, coming down 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Final opportunity is here now. 5 for 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 7 for 6, 5, 4 for 3, 2, 1. Completed. Slowly guiding it all the way down to the bottom. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the exercise for today. That's all we're going to go through. Great work, everybody.
Our YouTube channel is a great place to start gaining strength, but if you want to get serious about reducing your symptoms and getting results, then you need to be on a weekly structured strength training program with other individuals just like you. And that's exactly what we offer at MS Workouts through our membership. Click the link in the video or below the video to learn how our membership can help you achieve your goals. And while you're on the website, make sure you sign up for the no-cost 7-day strength camp so you can experience how we can help you do the things that you love to do with more confidence. See you all next week.